The debate now among Democrats is, how do you answer the following question? Is Donald Trump an existential threat to democracy in his second term? Or is Donald Trump's second term bad, but like his first term, survivable if we just wait it out, right? And I just want you to know from your senator, as someone who sits in that room on your behalf, I am in camp number one. He is an existential threat to democracy.
That's from her economic war plan town hall. So Senator Slotkin has been putting together a series of these town halls saying we got to go out there, talk to people, explain to folks. Look, I'm not surprised to hear her land on that side, but like, what does that mean in practice? I think Democrats writ large, elected Democrats will say, I think we have to fight. I think they've all gotten that message from the first 30 days of Donald Trump's administration when they weren't necessarily fighting. But now what does the fight look like? I mean, just last week you had Cory Booker on the floor basically getting into, you know, and the way that senators get into it by using their floor speeches about passing a piece of legislation that would help the Trump administration wanted versus blocking it because that's what they want. In the same breath, just a couple of weeks before that, Cory Booker confirmed someone that was from Jersey that Donald Trump had nominated to a particular, I believe it was an ambassadorship. And he was like, you know, this isn't politics. So I'm just like, Democrats can't have both ways. Either we fight or we not fighting. And if we fight, what does fight look like?
Well, so that to me is the core thing here, because I can assure you that if the shoe were near the foot, the Republicans would not have passed or would not have voted for that particular appointment. They would have made it very clear. They would have drawn a very clear line in the sand that they disagree with this administration. Now, I can disagree with you on policy. I can disagree with you on principle, but that doesn't mean that in my disagreement, I'm not going to knock you upside the head to make my point to the voters. Because in the formalities of the hall, Alicia, yeah, we can be colleagues and my fine member or friend from so-and-so state. But back home, they want to see, am I ready to duke it out? Am I ready to throw a punch? Am I ready to where it matters for them? Not for me in the collegiality of the chamber, but for those of us who are trying to survive this administration. What are you doing?
Correct.
What are you doing? How are you making it better for us down the road? Because we've been asking the question at this table, when we get past this stupid moment in our American narrative, right? And we look each other in the eye and they go, well, who's going to build this back?
Not build it back. Who's going to fire Jeanine Pirro? That's the conversation Democrats are having.
Who's going to fire Jeanine Pirro?
Are you going to move to impeach Emil Bove? To use a mechanism to take him out of the U.S. District Court of Appeals?
You claim he's unqualified.
I feel like you're all coming at me like, Hakeem Jeffries, like I'm Ken Martin. I think part of the challenge they have is that what they have to do tactically to deal. Sorry, you missed me apparently. So what they have to do tactically to deal with this moment is potentially different than what they need to do in order to win elections. And I think that is some of what you hear Alyssa Slotkin grappling, right? The fact that people care about the economy, the fact that they know that was an issue in the last election, the fact that they feel they now have the upper hand there, matched with the fact that that is all happening in the shadow of an existential threat to democracy.
And if it's a threat to democracy, act like it's a threat every time. Maggie Hassan, why are you voting to confirm Mike Waltz, to move Mike Waltz out of committee? These are questions.